Awesome. Well, it's good to be with you all. Again, my name is Brian Thomas. I'm learning designer here at TCI. A little bit about me. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I taught social studies just north of Cincinnati for 12 years, eighth grade and seventh grade. I started working for TCI part-time, going out and doing trainings in the summertime. And then in 2004, after 12 years, I made the leap full time, and I've been with TCI ever since. I've worked in several different roles, worn different hats. I've worked in sales, I've worked in professional development, still do. But then also now my job mainly consists of helping TCI really plot its way forward in our design of lessons and activities and video activities and how we can build interaction in lots of different ways. So I help to write lessons. I help to focus in on interactions. And that's kind of my role at TCI. I like to get my hands in a lot of those different things. I am very lucky to have with me a very talented, very wonderful person.
Wow. That was a
Unfortunately, they couldn't be here, but I got Kelsey.
right. I was like
I
gonna
was so
say, wow,
excited,
that was the
Kelsey.
nicest thing you've ever said to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I spoke it.
No, I
Okay.
can't brag enough about Kelsey. She's wonderful. Kelsey, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
I mean, after your fantastic intro, I feel like I don't
Mhm.
need to say anything. But yeah, my name is Kelsey Moore. I'm so excited to be with you today. I taught in San Ramon Valley Unified School District in Northern California, and but I've been with TCI for 8 years full time, working as an account manager. So many of the districts I see here in the chat, I've had an opportunity to work with you. I love that. Love being able to support teachers, and I love getting to work with Brian Thomas, even when he throws me under the bus in 5 seconds.
Yes,
But we are so excited to be able to get in today. And I am not the content expert, so I'm just here to support. But we'll see what we do today. So, Brian, should we jump in?
we should. We should jump in. And just remember, Kelsey, I do it in love. I love to do it.
I know. I'm
All right, our
so sure.
housekeeping. You've probably seen this already a couple times. We're going to give it to you one last time here. Q&A. If you've got a question for me, throw it into the Q&A. If it's a question that you have about something I'm sharing or something that we are going over, throw it in there. That doesn't guarantee that I'm going to know the answer to everything. In fact, there may be some questions that you ask that I don't have a good answer for, but I can promise you that at TCI, when you ask a question we can't answer, we'll make it our job to find it for you. So use a Q&A. The chat is a really great feature for you to be able to react, to be able to share your own activities, your own experiences, your own reactions to others as we go through. It's a great way to be able to connect with colleagues and peers across the country. So make sure you make good use of that. And of course, if you need closed captioning, there's a tool there for that as well. This session is titled Digital Citizenship Lessons that Foster AI and Digital Literacy. And the reason that we did this is that we saw really an opportunity. Many districts now have to teach digital literacy as a part of either state requirements or maybe it's district or school requirements. And of course, since November of 2022, we have seen just a proliferation of AI tools that are out there. And so this is a really great opportunity for us to sit down and think about how should we teach digital citizenship? What are some of the strategies and tips that we can do that hit both birds in the same stone? Are going to teach digital citizenship, but also apply to AI. And so the agenda is that we're going to go through and I'm going to share with you some things that you can impart to your students about how AI works, about what AI should and shouldn't be used for, the research process, how you evaluate sources, citations, and honesty, and why, and this is most important, and I put it last, why human thinking still matters. And that's, of course, going to be kind of the critical mass portion that we want to get to. So a chat burst before we start, though. And I say burst because I want to see them all kind of populate at the same time. When a student turns in work that used AI, how do you know? Like, do you see it? How do you know it was AI? So think back if this is not your first year in the class, and I want you to throw it into the chat. When a student turns in work that used AI, how did you know? Or how do you feel like you would know if this is your first year? Ricky said vocabulary that's beyond their normal writing, way above their writing. Sounds like AI, robotic sounding or too perfect. Okay. A
I see
lot
a
about
lot
the
of,
vocabulary.
I was going to say, I see that. I see a lot of dashes, right? The use of the dash. I see that populated in here quite a bit.
The language used and the answer is in a voice that isn't their own or a level that we aren't learning at. Oh,
Mm.
great.
Too
Great.
smooth, like no mistakes, right? No mistakes in the writing.
Excellent. Excellent. So sounds like we've got some really good sleuths already. And as you're sharing, just kind of consider there's not a wrong answer. And uh, how you go about spotting it, how you go about finding it can be different from the next person. Now, why this question matters, students are using AI. You could have a policy and a plan in place, but we know as teachers and educators that students are using AI, whether we've taught them to or not. So we need to teach them how to use it well, critically, and honestly. And of course, the big asterisk, even though it's small print there that I had put on the screen, but it is important to note is if your school or district allows students to use AI tools, some of your districts or schools may not. So just kind of take that with a grain of measure there. Now, let's focus in on kind of what we would impart to students to help them be more digitally literate and civically engaged, certainly when it comes around to using digital sources inside their education. So let's talk about first how AI works. And I'll throw up this graphic. You'll see it again later. You'll actually see it in the free lesson that I'm going to share at the very end of our presentation today. But how are AI models trained? And when I say an AI model, Claude is an AI model. Or if you hear Chat GPT, that is an AI model. Or Kimi, which is a Chinese model, is an AI model. How are these things trained? We're going to get into how we would share this information with students. There's 5 things I want my students to know about how AI models are trained. But essentially, it boils down to 3 steps. There's processing data. That data is trained and learned about, and then there is a production of a response. Now, specifically though, let's focus in on these 5 things. You'll see 3 here, and then I'll give you a couple others on different slides because they're so big I couldn't keep them to just one slide. So first, we need our students to know that AI does not look things up. It predicts. It predicts. Now, you're sitting there thinking, wait a minute, what is it predicting? Well, AI generates every word that it gives you by predicting what is the most likely next word to come. And it does that based on patterns. If I go back to my graphic, it all is about the data that it's fed. The more data that it's fed as it's trained and learned, these large language models is what they're called, these AI models, will predict what it's going to say next. So if Kelsey or one of you were to say, boy, this guy looks a lot like, AI knows that the next word or phrase you're going to say is Brad Pitt because it's been
Yes,
trained.
that is what I was going to say. It's
It's
crazy.
it is a prediction is what it's based on. And it's done on billions and billions of human written texts. So these large language models do not look things up, they predict. And as a result of that, here's the third thing we want to make sure our young people know is that confidence does not mean correctness because of how AI will generate answers. It sounds very confident, but that confidence does not necessarily mean that it's correct. It writes like it knows it, even when it does it. So, your job as a student, what we want to tell them is your job as a student is to check. You've got to be the investigator. You've got to be the person that's going to critically look at it and determine whether or not that information that AI is giving you is right. And that's because, and it takes me to the fourth thing I want to make sure I teach my students, is that AI hallucinations are real. Now, you may not, if you're working with young students, you may not say hallucinations, but AI hallucinations, that term is when AI generates false information. I'll give you an example. So, quote, according to historian James Whitmore's 2019 study in the Journal of American Education, 73% of students showed improved source evaluation skills. Quoted from Whitmore, 2019, page 84.
Sounds pretty confident.
It sounds authoritative. There's a problem. James Whitmore was an actor. He was not a historian. The journal article, that's never been published. And in fact, there is no Journal of American Education. There is an American Education Journal, but there's no periodic that is named exactly that. And of course, that statistic was completely fabricated. So every date, name, statistic, and quote in an AI response, they need to be able to verify it before they use it. That could be something that you put in as a procedure. So we want to make sure that they understand what hallucinations are. They do happen. It's not that it does it necessarily in a nefarious way. It's just what it is. It's that prediction-based algorithmic model. Algorithms, and this is number 5, algorithms shape what you see. So here you have two students. On the left, we have Liam, and on the right, we have Maya. Now, recently, when Liam has been looking stuff up on his Chrome browser or Firefox or Microsoft browser, he's typed in for searches space, NASA, and sci-fi movies. Concurrently, his buddy Maya has also been looking up things on her browser. She's been looking up things like planets and documentaries. Well, when they both type in the exact same item, they are not going to get the same search results. And that's all based on those algorithms. The computer is going to give you what it thinks you're most likely to click on. That's how it is built. And that's one of the things that we need to teach young people is that when they type something in their search engine, the top result isn't the best result. It's the result that that platform believes you are most likely to click on next. So planets of our solar system is going to give Liam different results than it is for Maya. So that's an important skill set that we need to teach young people is to look beyond the result list. And just by the way that results are provided there, just because it's in a list doesn't mean it's built on hierarchy of what's the best sources that are there. So same search, different results, and it happens to all of us. I can guarantee you, if both Kelsey and I did the same search right now, we would not get the same search results. So what students should and shouldn't use AI for? Let's make sure we give students a clear framework, not a blanket ban or a blank permission. And again, I want to make sure I give an asterisk here. This is totally based on what your district and school allows based on its policies. But just in general, what should we say students should and shouldn't use AI for? So I put it in kind of two buckets here for you. What's all good? What's not good? Getting a quick review of a topic or brainstorming, breaking down a difficult concept, helping me with terrible IKEA directions. That would be a good use of AI. Organizing notes, doing some generation of a first draft and then verifying if I verify it. That's good use. What it's not good for, citing as a source because it can't be verified. It's like, who's it going to verify it to? It's going to verify itself. So you can't cite it as a source. Finding current information. And a lot of young people, a lot of people in general don't know this, but there is what they call a knowledge cutoff with every large language model. Now, the bigger ones, ChatGPT and Claude, it's usually every couple of days, sometimes even depending on which one version that you're using, it could be, every day. But there is a knowledge cutoff. And what that means is it's not going to be always a perfect tool for finding current information because it may not have it. It's not going to be up to the minute. It's not breaking news or anything like that. So finding current information, probably not a good use of AI. Generating statistics or quotes to use as is, not good. Submitting without disclosing that AI was used, that would be unethical. And we'll talk more about that. And then replacing your own thinking and judgment, we should never do that. We should never assign over what has been given to us to be able to do that no one else can do. So replacing our own thinking and judgment, not good. So let's use our chat, a little chat burst here. So responsible use of AI or not? I'm going to have you pick two letters. You can pick any two letters that you want on here, and you're going to type in a letter, a letter beyond the first letter. So you'll tell me if it's A or B or C or D. You're only going to pick two, but then you're going to follow up with either an R or an N after that first letter. Is it responsible use or not responsible use? And let's see what you put together. And your answer could vary based on what your district's policies are in place. So not everybody necessarily is going to have the very same answer, even for the same letter. So while you're using your chat, I'll quickly shoot through them here. And then Kelsey, you can just kind of tell me where people are landing based on what you see.
Yeah.
A student asks AI to explain the causes of World War I and then reads the lesson in their History Alive textbook to check it. B,
Need a lot of R's. Oh,
a
wait.
lot
Are
of
you going
R's.
through them all first or
Oh,
you want
no,
to?
no, that's fine. That's fine. We want to do it that way. That's good.
Well, it
We're all
looks like
good
we're
there.
doing it that way then today, but I
We'll
see a lot
do,
of R's.
we'll do it Kelsey's way. All right. So
Love it.
B,
Perfect.
B here, a student copies an AI written paragraph and submits it without changes.
Hmm. Seeing a lot of not responsible use.
Okay. C, a student uses AI to generate an outline and then writes the essay themselves.
I see a lot of R's. I see a lot of responsible use here. Like
Okay.
scrolling through.
And that's the one I'm most interested in on
Yeah.
because I could see based on his school's policies, that may be an N for some of you.
I do see some ends as I right when I said R, I do absolutely see some people
Yeah,
that are saying no.
absolutely. All right. So then D, a student tells their teacher they used AI to brainstorm ideas.
Let's see here. I'm going as I'm scrolling through, I see a lot of responsible use.
Yeah, I like that because we certainly want to emphasize ethical use and disclosure and making sure that students know that that's an important step in the process. So if they tell me they brainstorm ideas, I I would see that as a good thing. But again, your answers may vary based upon what your school district allows. Regardless of whether it's AI or just any digital tool, all of these kind of fall towards the same import in that we need to teach the students the research process and where these things could be placed and where they could be used and used well. Now, AI has changed how students potentially move through the research process, but not whether they do it. And I'll show you what I mean. So again, here's a little infographic. By the way, every infographic that you see in this presentation, you'll get again in the free lesson that I share. So you will be able to access all of this. Typically, when we think about the research process, and not everybody has the same steps, but generally speaking, they tend to follow a same predictable pattern. We define a topic, we identify possible sources, we evaluate, we choose those sources, we gather and organize the information, create a product of some sort, and then we reflect on the process. Some of those AI can assist in and can be good supports in. Some of them it cannot do at all, and the human literally has to be there. So when it comes to brainstorming ideas, AI can help with that. Or when it comes to identifying possible sources, AI can, provide some potential sources for people to look online. But when it comes to things like evaluation, is the source trustworthy? Is it relevant to the question? Is it factual? Those are things that AI can't do at all. Gather and organize information, sure, it can help sort group data. It's really good at that. It's very good at making sense of statistical data and things like that. It's great at that. What it can't do is it can't create the product itself. That takes the human. Plan and outline, write and build, make it clear, creative. Those are things that we want our students to focus on, because those two, particularly in the research process, rely on durable skills that good teachers teach in their classrooms every day. Reflection, again, very human. What did I learn? What went well? What could I improve upon? How would I review my work? How would I review someone else's work? So while AI can be a good helper and can be a good assist, it can't replace what the student does in the research process at all. So we need to teach our students always, when they're doing that research, corroborate, find additional sources that will back up what you find that AI says. If AI gives you an answer, can you find the same fact somewhere else? And if you can't, don't use it. Do the sources agree? Just because you find another answer, they may not agree. So make sure, whether or not the sources agree, if you use it, cite the source, not the AI. Make sure you use the one that's cited and could be fact-based and could be checked upon. How do we go about evaluating all these different sources? When you corroborate, how do you corroborate? How do you look at things like AI? They're the same questions, the same kinds of questions that we should answer with every source every time. And it really boils down to three questions. Is it reliable? Is it biased? Is it accurate? And what do we mean? What do we mean by those? So is it reliable? Who made this? Do they have expertise in it? I want to challenge my students when they're doing a search, look for things that are .gov, .edu, museums, named authors, things that could easily be fact checked. That shows reliability. Is it biased? Does it present only one side? What voice is missing from what it's sharing with me? Whose voice is not included, in other words? And what's their motive? Why did they provide this? Why did they write it? Is it accurate? Can I find this in another trusted source? Like we talked about with corroboration, you've got to be able to double check. And let's make sure that the facts and statistics that we share are ones in which other people also agree upon. If not, keep looking. Teach students that bias shows up in our language. Whether we intend it or not, it shows up in our language. Sometimes it's intentional. And the words, and this was something that goes back to our poll question at the very beginning. A lot of you talked about the vocabulary and the words that students use. That was your kind of tip off that you knew something was AI. Well, words also reveal perspective. So here we have the same event, but with two different headlines. Greedy council members ram through bloated spending plan. But another headline of the same event might read, City Council approves new budget. Perspective and bias appears in the kinds of words that we choose and the sources that we go to. Greedy, ram, bloated, those are very charged words. And these are obvious examples here that we can see the difference between. But let's kind of challenge you, and I'm going to see how you do with 4 additional headlines. So let's go through. We'll use Kelsey's method again, and I'll read the headline, and you can tell me whether it's N or B, neutral or biased for each of these. So the first one, A, imminent housing market crash set to wipe out millions of Americans. Is that neutral, N, or B biased? Kelsey, what'd they say?
So far, I am seeing a lot of B's, a lot of bias.
Imminent, how do we judge what imminent is? Wipe out, again, kind of charged language that's there. All right. B, pain supplement glucosamine linked to faster dementia in recent study. Is that neutral or biased? Now, we're not talking about corroboration at this point. We're not fact checking. We're just reading, is this neutral or biased language that we see here?
I say predominantly neutral, but I definitely do see some people that would say that is biased, but I see
Yeah.
a lot of neutrals.
And that's a real headline, too. I pulled that off last week from what I saw in my search engine. C, school board votes to update curriculum. Is that neutral or is it biased?
Well, that was the fastest everybody has thrown in neutral. Maybe because
Yeah.
we've all
The
seen the
fewer
opposite
words, the
side.
fewer opportunities for bias,
I
right?
was gonna say that's pretty clear across the
Yeah.
board. Yep.
All right. Then D, US job market shows third straight month of incredible growth.
Hmm. Lot of bias in
Yeah, a
there.
lot of bias. Now, if I were to remove one word from D to make it more neutral, what would that word be?
Perhaps unsurprisingly, incredible.
Incredible. Yeah. So words matter. They often will tip us off to bias that could be there in sources. So great job. You all get extra credit and brownie points for doing a good job and being able to find that. But that's a good little exercise that I just modeled right there that you could do with your students to teach digital literacy is give them some headlines, have them focus on neutral and bias, and really talk about each of those. That's a great little skill that you can help to build upon. Let's talk about citations and honesty too, because that's a part of digital literacy. Citing isn't just a school rule in many cases, it is a professional and civic practice. So it's what good researchers, it's what good educators do is they make sure that they cite. So teach students that citations aren't about they're about honesty, not just format. So whether it's MLA or APA and which Chicago style you're using, that is kind of secondary in focusing on let's make sure that we're getting it in there. And when you do it, it can happen a couple of different ways. Some teachers might require just a works cited page so that if the students are doing research, that anything that they include in their paper, their whatever their product is that was built from it, that they cite it on a works cited page. Many will go the extra step and they'll require their students to build a bibliography to be posted at the end. That would be all of works cited, but there would also be the addition of any source that's consulted, even background reading. That's the difference between a works cited page and a bibliography. And a possible rule that you could consider if you're open to adding rules is if it's in the paper, it's on the list. So if you put it in your paper or you put it in the product that you give me, then I want it in the works cited or I want it in the bibliography. That could be a great thing to institute as a rule. So that leads to the question, well, what about AI? So if they are using Claude or Chat GPT, what about AI? We have to remember and we have to reinforce with them. AI has no authors. Its content cannot be independently verified. So I want to encourage my students not so much about citation with regards to AI, but if you used it, how did you use it? I want to know that. Did you use it to brainstorm? Did you use it to fabricate statistics? What did you use it for? Tell me what you use the AI for because transparency is non negotiable when it comes to AI use. Lastly, let's make sure that we help students to understand why human thinking still matters and why it still matters most. The skills that we teach, they're civic skills, not just academic ones. The last session that I did before this one was kind of all about that, focusing on durable skills, things like communication and collaboration, inquiry. Those are durable skills that AI can't do. And we need to be spending our times as teachers passing along and giving our students lots of opportunities to work on those skills. So why human thinking still matters? Let me give you some terms to kind of point out why it's so important. Misinformation, disinformation, propaganda. Now, even before AI, these three words existed. Even before AI, all three of those words existed, and all three of them are real. With AI, you almost can't go on to social media or any kind of news aggregate feed where you're not encountering at least one of those three, and in many cases, multiple. There is a difference, though, between them. Misinformation is not purposeful, it's not done on purpose. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information that's just spread, passed on. And it's not done so with harmful intent, but it happens. And we see it all the time on social media. Misinformation is real. Disinformation, also been around a very long time, intentionally false, and it's designed to mislead, often for political or financial gain. And the problem with AI is that disinformation is so easy to replicate these days, whether it's a video or an image or whatever. So last week, and I'll give you an example. Last week, I was on vacation and camping with our family. The author that I worked with on the chapter that we wrote for this free lesson that I'm going to be sharing, her name's Beth Lasser, wonderful person. She sent me a little gag. She sent me a picture of what I was actually doing on vacation, and it was a picture that looked like me. It was my face, my body, all of that, but it had me at a boy band concert, essentially. And it was very funny, and I enjoyed it, but it looked real. And you can probably think about examples that you've seen where you're like, that looks real. And there are folks out there that are purposely spreading false information. It is designed to mislead, and it's usually done so for a nefarious purpose. So that is another reason why humans are so important, is that we need to be able to spot those differences, be able to know what those things are that's being false, because there's also propaganda. And again, propaganda has been around since the beginning of time. Biased content designed to promote a cause or damage an opposing one. Everyone ends up sharing propaganda at some point, because at our heart, we all have our own opinions and beliefs, and we make those known. We share those, and that is propaganda, but it doesn't mean that it's true for everyone, and it doesn't mean that it's anything beyond our opinion. So we need to make sure that when we're working with our students, that we point out, can they spot the difference in misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda? Because if we do lots of that now while they're in school, when they get out into our world, they will become the vanguard against the spread of these three things. So that is one of the key elements of why it is so important that humans play an important role in their own learning. They can't assign it all over to AI. AI can generate text. It can't decide what's right or fair. These are human abilities. So we need to teach our students to own them. Teach them to recognize bias, including in AI outputs. Because remember, AI models are all only trained on the information that they're given. So if they're given information that is biased, that bias is going to seep into what AI provides. Apply context and lived experience. Reason ethically about what's fair. Make informed civic decisions. And informed means we got to be critical thinkers, right? We have to think through it. We have to base our decisions on evidence and ethical reasoning. All of those factors play an important role. So here in just a few moments, we're going to start to wrap up. Before we do that, though, Kelsey, can you throw that link in the chat here? I want to give everyone access to a free lesson that you can use with your students that will go through everything that I shared with you today. AI, digital literacy, and research skills. Now, I believe, if I move up here, uh, what it will look like when you click on the link, it will take you to a landing page that looks like this right here. And one of the things that you'll see on here that will say explore this lesson actually jumps you down just a little bit to this right here. Start your exploration. And what it is it's a free lesson, includes a chapter that's been written for it and an activity that you can use with your students that's game-like, almost built on like a Jeopardy-like model called Think Tank. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play. Kelsey, how much time do we have?
We have about 15 minutes to go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play the opening video for it. We'll look at one or two of the questions, see how you guys do with it. And then we'll start to wrap up with any last questions. So when you click on explore the activity, it should open up, and mine actually have open right here. There we go. AI, digital literacy, and research skills. If you advance forward, it operates a lot like if you've used our video activities. That's exactly how this kind of works right here. Students are going to be playing a game of Think Tank. Today's topic is AI, digital literacy, and research skills. They're going to watch a brief video at the very beginning, and they're going to analyze and answer some questions. The deeper they dive, the tougher the questions get. And then there'll be a final challenge. So let's take a look at the opening video. It's about 3 minutes or so. We may not watch all of it, but I'll give you enough of it that you get a sense for what students will see at the very beginning.
Welcome to the Think Tank game.
Sound okay?
This game will allow you to learn something new and be challenged by your findings. In this game, the deeper you go, the tougher the questions get, and the bigger rewards. Today's game of Think Tank will cover AI, digital literacy, and research skills. You can search billions of web pages, ask an AI any question, and get an answer in seconds. The harder question is whether you can trust what you find. The easier information is to reach, the more work of judging it falls on you. In this lesson, you'll learn how AI works, how to use it responsibly in your research, and why your own judgment still matters most. Most AI chatbots are built on large language models, a system trained on vast amounts of text, images, and films to predict and generate language. AI does not look up an answer. It generates a response one word at a time, choosing each word based on a statistical pattern it learns during training. Search engines and social media platforms use algorithms to rank results, which means two people searching the same topic can see very different answers. AI tools can be useful starting points for research. You can ask a question in plain language and quickly get an overview of a topic. But AI tools can hallucinate, generating false information that sounds confident and correct, even when it isn't. Using AI responsibly means treating it as a starting point, then verifying everything against sources you can check and cite. Strong research follows a process. Define your topic, gather sources.
Stop it there. There's another 2 minutes of it, but you've seen a lot of these infographics already. You saw them in my presentation. They're going to see them here. They'll also see them in the text. And Carrie, I saw what your question was there. Where do we find this? Kelsey just shared the link for you, and then just go to explore this activity and you'll see it. So after the students watch this video, then they're going to see their game board. And the way that Think Tank works is the first question that they answer in each series. So if you think of it a little bit like Jeopardy, first question that they answer in each series is the easiest question. The third question or the last question in each series is the most challenging. Now, before they do that, we're going to give them a chance to be able to read. And once they clear the board, they'll continue and they'll have one final challenge. The reading is broken down so that the students will have a whole chapter built around digital citizenship. So when they go in and they click on read for the intro in section 1, it will pop up for them. I don't know why I'm getting a blank screen there. Shouldn't. Maybe I just need to refresh my page. It could be that everybody's accessing it at the same time too. That could be it. But there is a reading section for each one of these, and then when you click on to read to answer a question, each of them will have a question. Now, as they go through, they earn points, but all those questions go directly back to what they've read about. Whoops. Oh my goodness. What happened here? Kelsey, were you able to access it?
Yeah, I did. I was able to on my side over here.
I wonder if it's my sign in. It could be that I was signed out. And it
It
was.
is possible.
That is the problem.
Well,
So,
while you're doing that, I
yeah.
think, we had Carrie was just talking about, is this something, I think if I'm understanding right, like you can find this on our MAID website, but if you wanted to find it like within your TCI teacher account, Brian, is that something that they'll be able to find?
So, not right away, but we are going to be adding that. So the free lesson right now lives outside of your TCI app. Our great marketing team was able to do this outside so that everyone, regardless of whether or not they had AI or had AI, goodness, had
If they didn't have
TCI or
TCI,
not,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
whether they had TCI right now or not, that everyone would be able to access it who had a link. So right now it's a public facing link is where you will find this. And this is what I was talking about before. If you click on read, here is the reading section for the introduction. And then the reading works and operates with the same tools that your students use everywhere else inside their TCI account. When they go to answer a question, they'll be presented with a question like this one right here. What does large language models do when it generates a response to a question? They'll get a chance to be able to pop in a response, and then they will get immediate feedback upon answering the question and a little check mark so that they know what they've answered and what they haven't. When they're ready, they'll be able to move off of the game board and move on to the final challenge. And the final challenge here is really more vocabulary based on some of the terms that we work with in that lesson. Things like algorithm and hallucination, large language model citation, and corroborate. So this is our little free lesson. It's something that all of you and anyone that you share the link to can access and use with your students first day of school if you wanted. But it's there to support you as you're teaching digital citizenship and literacy with your students. Now I'm going to go back to my slideshow here. And as we're kind of closing out before we move to the end slides, I'd love for your reaction, your reflection to the presentation today. So we've got a little emoji reflection grid here, 1 through 6. What I said in my last presentation, Kelsey, you will appreciate this, is I love how they all look great because they're all of them are bald here, right?
I
Bald is
listen.
beautiful.
I was going to ask you how you got Brad Pitt to narrate that free lesson, but
There we
I
go.
was just
Yeah.
wondering about that. But I see we got a lot of things, a lot of ones, twos, sixes, very helpful and a great lesson to use, useful and informative. Listen, Brian, I've heard this, I've seen this multiple times from you, and I'm already formulating how I'm going to do this with my own kids this summer before they even go back to school. Right. I
Yeah.
think a lot of these things and the benefit of it being in that free lesson is like, hey, that's something I can have them log into their Chromebooks and do at home before they're even back. And so I think there's so many ways we could use this even outside our classroom.
Yeah, I joked with somebody else. It might be something you even want to share at your next family get together.
I mean,
You
listen,
know, hey,
you
what are you
might,
looking up there? What did you just share with me?
oh,
I'm going to
yeah,
have you do a lesson. I'm going to have you do a lesson. You need a lesson on digital citizenship. So
sounds like a fun backyard barbecue conversation starter. So I like it.
absolutely. So support every step of the way. You've gotten it today. You're going to continue to get it from TCI because it's our promise to you. We're going to make sure that we're always there. We always want to give you great professional development online, in person, doesn't matter, on demand. We want to make sure we give you really great professional development. Want to inform you about these new product updates. I did not get into the weeds here of how we're using AI and how we're starting to incorporate that into your program. Some of you may have gone to Morris's session in first period on what's new, and you probably saw some of that with the AI reading levels and the question builder that's there. So we're starting to incorporate some tools to support, not replace. And that's what we want to make sure that we provide for you. But you'll learn more about those things through our product updates. Make sure if you haven't joined our Teach with TCI Facebook group, that you scan that QR code and join that. It's a great way for you to be able to touch base with other people that you've met today, new people that you haven't, and be able to share what's going on inside your class, hear what's going on in theirs, be able to help each other collaborate towards finding answers to questions that you may have. If you do follow us on socials, you can do so at Teach TCI or at Teach_TCI. And not only that, but don't forget that if you do that and you tag us, you get entered in another chance to be able to get $50. So, what I shared today, you will see in that free lesson, but there are other opportunities for similar kinds of professional development opportunities that operate the very same way, and they're in-app. They're built right inside of your TCI account. Just go up to the professional development area and you'll see them. Don't forget, you can win that gift card, stay engaged, share on social media, since this is the end. What did you learn? And make sure that you also complete the survey. And I'm going to give you all that link and the QR code for that survey here in just a second, so that you can make sure that you get your certificate. So when you are sharing, tag us with that hashtag TCI Summit 26. And that way you're able to get that extra opportunity. And this is the other, is if you want a certificate for coming today for those hours, you need to complete this survey. So here it is. You scan that QR code. It will take you right to it. You scan that QR code. You fill out. It takes you just a couple of moments to fill out that survey. And then we will be emailing you the certificate. But it will also enter you one additional time in that $50 50 card drawing. Wow, $50. That's pretty cool. It's one of the this is one of those times where you wish you weren't friends or family.
I know.
Like,
True story.
I need $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, that'll buy me like one meal right now. So just for
Yeah.
myself. So it's
Oh my
perfect.
goodness. Yes. All right.
Hey,
Yep. Go ahead,
oh, I
Kelsey.
was just going to say, well, no, wrap it up. And then I've got Marilyn's been patiently waiting. She would love for you to go back to a certain slide, which I think I know what it is. But let's wrap it up and then maybe we can pop back to that slide so she can
Yeah,
see
no,
it.
that's perfect timing. What I was going to say is I wanted to thank everyone for coming. And for those of you that, have some questions or something like that, that you still have burning and you want answers to, you could stick around for a couple minutes. And Kelsey and I are happy to stick around and field those for you. But let's go ahead and do that then. And if you are leaving, let me thank everyone for coming to our summit today. We are so thrilled that you were here, and we hope you come back for year 8 next summer, because I'm guarantee you we're going to do it again. And we had, I think, over 2,400 people sign up before we had started at noon Eastern time, and hopefully next summer we even double that. That would be awesome. But you're a big part of that. Remember what I said before. You matter. You matter most, and when you have good people doing things right, success is just a matter of time. And that includes you when you're doing what you do inside your classroom. And we can partner with you and support you in that. We're more than happy to do so. Kelsey, thank you also for helping, being
Always,
my little partner in crime here, and for
always.
putting up with my cheesy jokes. But if you're dropping off, go ahead. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful school year. If you got some questions, we'll be here for it too. Take care.
Awesome. Any chance you want to go back to slide 22? Because I think that is the one that Marilyn would like to see.
All right. So what was slide 22? Can you tell me
That
what
was all about teaching students citations are about honesty, not just format.
right here?
Yeah. Nope, keep going. I think
This,
it was this one. And maybe she will be able to tell us if this is not what she wanted, but she was just asking to backtrack to this one. So maybe to get a good screenshot. I'm not sure. So maybe smile.
got it.
Um, yeah. 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 Perfect. Perfect. Awesome.
Fun, fun, fun. I'll just leave it right on there. So any other questions?
I don't think so.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's wonderful to hear. I appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, and can you believe it? It's 12 o'clock. Well, 12 o'clock for me. I don't know what time it is for you, but
Yes, indeed. Well, yeah, it's 3 o'clock.
yeah. Well,
That's how time zones work.
okay. Okay. Sorry, I don't have your time zone time memorized over here.
I'm closer to dinner than you are.
This is true. I may just make it dinner time. I mean, okay, it's lunchtime, so I guess there you go.
Carrie, that's awesome. Love to hear that. She says our entire department's
Oh,
been texting about how to deliver this to the entire school. Great.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh,
Elena,
Pete.
thank you so much. Yeah, the presenters and their sessions. And I should have said this, and for those that are still hanging around, just because you came here and maybe missed something else, don't worry. We recorded all these sessions and you'll be able to access every one of them.
Yep. Yeah.
You can watch
And
Kelsey. You can watch Kelsey and I over.
I don't, please don't. Maybe just we'll like edit that part of it out. No, but I was going to say, and that's one of the things that we've got nice now too, is the ability to be able to add these too into your TCI account, where we add in the videos from these sessions as well. So lots of different places to be able to access this, our YouTube channel, all of that kind of good stuff. So
Yeah. And
Marilyn,
Marilyn,
you're good. You write it
yeah,
down. You're okay. We don't. I can wait on lunch. It's all right. I don't know if Brian can wait for dinner, but.
we can. And Kelsey and I don't have a problem in talking about things, just
Oh
anything.
gosh, it's so true. It is true.
Is Ricky asked, is there a 3 hour time difference across the US?
I don't know if Ricky's mocking me right now. It sort of feels like it, but that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, well, we're so glad you're here. Ricky had lots of good comments here in the chat today. One of the things that he said early on, I didn't get to call it out, was when you were talking about like projects and stuff, and he said that he used his students would use AI to like create a cover of a writing assignment that they did, right? So like or create some artwork to go along with something they wrote. I'm like, that's such a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great use of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
totally.
because I mean for some students who especially are not artistic
Me.
or just don't have that,
That would be
don't have that
me.
motivation or want to or skill, that can be a great little, assist.
Totally. All right, Marilyn's got one more request. The AI can generate text slide. Not sure which one that one was, but
And I can generate text. This one right here, Marilyn, is this one you need?
I see a thumbs up, so I'm gonna say yes.
Cool beans. Awesome.
Cool beans. Wow. One of the many phrases that we utter in my house, and my middle school daughters just roll their eyes at.
Is
So,
cool beans? What do they
yeah,
say now?
bro, I don't even know.
That
I
hits,
mean,
that
I
slaps.
don't even, I can't even keep up with truly since I'm not in the classroom day to day. It's my own children that I'm trying to pick up things from, and it changes truly on the daily. And if I say something, whatever it is, it's not the
So
right
so
thing.
so you know this, they don't,
Yes,
but mine are 22 and 21.
yes, yes,
But when they were 14 and 13,
yep.
I realized very quickly at dinner one time, we spoke two different languages
Oh yeah,
because
it
I didn't
is.
understand what they were talking about.
It is great. This is legitimately my daughter this morning. My dad gave her a task to all my kids. If they memorize the presidents, they would get, I don't know, some sort of prize. And so she's recording herself coming up with a song. And I was like, there's tons of songs on YouTube. She's like, your guys' old people music is just too hard for me to follow. And I was like, okay.
Old people
So
music.
yeah, that's what she said to me. She's 11, but I was like, okay, cool. So that's where we
Ricky,
are.
So Ricky asked, the survey doesn't ask for name, only email. Will it get matched behind the scenes? I'm assuming it does.
I was gonna say that seems yes. I would say yes. When you go in there and do that, yes, for sure.
They said, okay, cool. You forgot beans,
I
Ricky.
know.
Okay, cool beans.
That is the age I am, is I have just learned to embrace my, as my kids would say, cringiness, right? That's what they're so,
Yes,
so cringe. I'm like, all right,
cringy.
well, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay. I think I think we got it.
I do too.
Marilyn, are you all good?
Awesome. Hunt
She's
for the
got to
survey.
hunt
We
for the
can give you the
survey.
survey. We can get it. I just need to find of my 74 tabs up here where the link is for it, but I got you. Here we go. Oh, I don't think you need all that text. Wow, I'm struggling with typing today. There you go, Marilyn. That is just for you. Bye, Ricky. Thank you, everybody that was here today. So great to have everyone join and participate. It's way more fun when everyone participates.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. See ya.
See y'all later. Have a great school year. Bye now.